Welcome back, and on today's episode of Wrong Side, we go over what has Wrong Side been up to over the break, a little bit on our future rebrand, a life topic that I think many of you will be interested in, and our usual clutch moment and outside the line. In a world full of champions, we find ourselves on the wrong side.
Welcome back, listeners. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. I'm sure you're wondering where we've been. We have missed all of you, but we've been cooking up some big stuff. Took a couple weeks off after a great interview with Tyler Snepp in our last episode, and now we are back. I'm sure you're wondering where we've been. People were worried, like the Avatar, they were saying Wrong Side vanished when they needed us most, but you know what? Real G's move in silence like lasagna, and we've been cooking up some big things for the listeners. It is Wednesday, July 10th. We have a website out with some articles from our friends Sam Stein, Anthony Gambino, and more on the way. We've brought on a couple people to help us with digital marketing, social media, outreach, all that stuff. And we are back. We are the new and improved Wrong Side. We are a place to break away from the cubicle through sports and stories by a team navigating the ups and downs of postgraduate life. We're expanding. Things are getting big over here, and we're very excited about it. Michael, tell the listeners a little more about what we got cooking up these days.
Yes, 2 weeks ago, we left you guys with a very ominous post, a reel counting down with the 24 TV show clock and our theme song with Kane Acosta, Ashes to Amber, who we interviewed a few weeks back, letting you guys know we'd be back on July 10th. Well, we're back and we're ready to go. Joey and I, the last few weeks, took a step back, looked at the grand scheme of things. It's been about 3 months since we started the Wrong Side journey. We know you guys have enjoyed it so much. We're trying to get better for you guys. We totally always preach how to get better for you guys. At the end of the episodes, we always say to reach out, let us know what we're doing right or wrong. And that's what we tried to do. We tried to take a step back at the 3-month mark, see where we could improve, see where we needed work, see what we could nix and take out. And I think we've done it. We have more people on board. We're going to grow our following. We're going to go. We have a new TikTok that's supposed to be ready to go. Go follow that. A Wrong Side Takes. That's now out. Our Twitter, Instagram, everything is in our link tree. Our website as well that is now up and going. That's going to have our links in there if you want to go a different route to find our stuff. Spotify, Apple, and YouTube as well. Obviously stays the same with our podcast. Joey and I took a step back. We realized we can get better. We can do different things. Let's try to make it different. And as Joey mentioned, we are the break away from the cubicle through sports and stories. We're going to focus on those life topics. A few weeks back, if you remember in those first few episodes, we talked about it a little, and then it turned into sports, some life, interviews here and there. And we want to make sure we have a good program for you guys, top to bottom, every single week, and being very continuous with us. And that's where we're at now.
Yeah, in a world where debate is kind of dead, we really want to have those tough conversations. Like, when do you decide to move out? We talked about that a few weeks back. How to budget in your 20s versus having those experiences versus saving money like your parents are supposed to. So really took a step back, identify what we've been doing good, how to bring other people on. A rising tide raises all ships. So we extended the invite out to some of our fellow Buckeyes to join the workforce here, and we got something good cooking. We got a strong group of guys, a lot of passion, and a lot of different brains spread across the country. A few guys on the East Coast, me and Moose in Chicago, Michael and Moops holding it down out on the West Coast. So expanding the group is going to be really good for us. So we're really excited to be back. Got a lot of good stuff cooking up for you guys. Check out all the stuff that Michael just said. And yeah, happy to be back. I know we have some good life topics to talk about today. Not a ton of sports on with NBA and NHL wrapping up. Just the feeble baseball going on right now. As we're recording this, the Angels and Cubs are playing down the street at Wrigley for the rubber match. Cubs won the first one, Angels won the second one, and the battle of the basement going on as we speak today. But yeah, we're back and feeling great about it.
Yes, and like how Joey mentioned, we will talk for life, we will debate, we will have all those stuff, but we don't want you guys to be thinking that we're going away from some of our bread and butter. We still have our usual topics, the outside the line, the tone deaf person. We're still going to hit on sports here and there. We're just in a sports lull period right now. So obviously we're going to make some jokes, talk about our life, talk about things going on. But from the sports world, Joey's right. It's the baseball world, and I know people are interested in baseball. I will say, our last episode, we didn't get to do this because it was after that, but congratulations to the Florida Panthers. They're champions. Obviously, that did not
Yep.
get the credit it deserved at the end, but they did not blow it. Connor McDavid still can't win the big one. So that was our little sports recap of what we missed. But outside of that, Bronny's now in the Lakers. The Lakers have done nothing. NBA is moving here and there. Our Sixers back. We might have to discuss a few weeks down the line, but basketball is back and going. And I saw today, Joey, it's currently Sunday, single digits, 9 Sundays till red zone, 9 Sundays.
Need it.
So,
Need it.
meant
I think 7 till college
7 till
football.
college football, 9 till red zone. So, lock that in. We're in single digits for both of those. Definitely getting excited. Football about to start obviously brings the engagement up, and we're going to have stuff. But from now on, we're going to be talking sports. We're going to debate about certain things going on in life and just try to give you guys a more entertaining product with more of our effort and more people to help out to give you guys the content that you deserve and that we deserve to be putting out there for you. But for this week, Joey did mention, and I as well mentioned the website, everything going on. Joey, tell us a little bit about what the website's designed to do. How will that help you? What are people looking for in that new rebrand?
Yeah, it's going to be really the one-stop shopping for all engagement. We're going to have links to the podcast on Apple and Spotify, like we have talked about, the YouTube video as well as a lot of articles. We're going to be pumping out a couple articles. It's going to be about sports, going to be about specific teams, overall sports direction of leagues, as well as some life topics that we want to hit about that we want to hit as well. So it's going to be really the one-stop shopping to find all of that stuff. We will still have everything connected in the link tree and our socials. That's another good spot to find the NCAA Online Dynasty form. That's coming out in a week or so, as well as the submission form that we started a few weeks ago. If you want to see us talk about your team specifically or any other life topic, something you may be struggling with, that's another good place to reach out there. So everything will still be in the link tree, but the website, Wrong Side Takes, will be kind of your one-stop shopping for all that stuff. There will, at one point, not sure when we're going to get that one up, but comment and message boards to talk to our authors and article writers about their takes. There's going to be some ridiculous stuff specifically from Anthony Gambino out there in the city of Philadelphia. I'm sure there will be a ton of engagement there. So a place for the fans to interact with us, as well as just get all of our content.
Absolutely. And like he mentioned with the articles and everything, the Dynasty, I will want to mention one more time. The game is about to come out, obviously, as everyone knows. And we have 13 people currently. We're looking hopefully to get up to 20 if people want to join it. I'm going to be setting that up this next week. EA is releasing a lot more information on gameplay, Dynasty, more stuff. So I'm really going to set it up for us, and we're going to have teams and maybe post pictures about it, certain things. It's going to be very cool, another good content idea, and something I'm very much looking forward to. So like Joey said, website, one-stop shop, the link tree, another great spot. But that is where we are at in our rebrand. This is our current logo. As you can see, that's what you guys have known us as this whole time. Shout out to Moose for now updating some of that. We have some great graphics going, and hope you guys enjoy the content we are about to post out there, clips, that kind of stuff. Repost us, I think, as well. I think the people that listen here know us well. We're in that friends and family trying to get us going. The TikTok, follow us on TikTok. I know that's another thing to follow us on, but that's hopefully going to get going as well. And that's where we're at. And I believe the last 2 weeks really gave us a good stance to step back, take a big overview, get some more help, prep for the future. And now Wrong Side is ready to go. Joey and I have made jokes in past episodes. We'll be here at 50 episodes, 100 episodes, 1,000 episodes. We're still on that pace. We still don't want to do anything that lets the fans down. And we're going to do everything in our power to continue to grow the right side and show who really are the wrong side. But
Yes,
moving
sir.
forward now, looking after the rebrand is now in effect. This is Wednesday. We're live. Website's up. The TikTok is up there. We're ready to go. Joey, life topic of the week. We talked about it. We're going to talk about more things. This is going to be probably a newer segment. We're talking about in between sports and interviews and everything. We're going to make sure to get you guys these topics. But it's July 4th weekend. It's over now. Everyone's going back to work tomorrow. Everyone hates the dreaded first day of work after a vacation weekend or a holiday weekend. NCAA is coming out a week from on Monday. That's another big event. We got more sports coming. You're moved into your new apartment. You go home for events. You go home to see Maddie. You go see friends. Life management is the topic of the day. Making sure you're able
Yeah.
to handle your work after work and your workouts and your fun and your work-life balance Joey, what are some of your thoughts first? Tell us a little bit more about this topic and why we got here today.
Well, for first and foremost, I do need to say life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you could miss it. And that is a very true quote. Like you just said, we all have a ton of stuff to do every day, work, life, relationship, friends, and especially in the day and age of social media and being in your young 20s, it's really hard to balance and pretty stressful. And it's something that I've kind of been really thinking about a lot since I moved out. Some people, we talked to Moops in our second episode. He moved across the country. You can't just pop by and see mom for a weekend. I moved an hour away. Most of my other friends, they still live at home, and the hour it is through a lot of like city driving and traffic. It feels like a long distance when really like it isn't that much. So the topic today is how to balance traveling back to see family, wanting to have all of your experiences in a new city, trying to better yourself. I've been trying to go to the driving range for 3 weeks now. My golf game's not getting any better with my club sitting in the corner over there. Going to the gym. Anyone who knows me hears me constantly complaining about my back and my neck pain. And of course, having a hobby that you really care about, like we do with this podcast and this company here. So it's hard. Like, long story short, it's hard. There's no right answer for it. And I was really thinking about this as we had talked about this topic. I have friends who want to come out every weekend. They're single. They want to go out Friday and Saturday till 4 or 5 in the morning and party. And that is literally the last thing I want to do. I would much rather get like a decent night's sleep. I'm going to really clean the apartment today, get a workout in, and prioritize myself a little bit with a holiday weekend where I feel like I'm running around and definitely not taking care of my body the way I should. But everyone has different priorities, and it's hard in your 20s to be okay with like, oh, your friend wants to go do this, but you want to go do that, go do something else. Like, that's okay. So it's about accepting those around you. Like, friends are still going to stay friends, and really, like, I think you got to take care of yourself. It's hard to keep everybody happy, but how do you do that? Like, that's the main question, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that's tough is like you said, it's there are different parameters and factors, distance from home, girlfriend, no girlfriend, all that matters. And it's tough, you're in a city where a lot of people come to Chicago and I know Meg, for example, when she goes to Chicago, she has a bunch of people to see and she's scheduled for every single minute she's there and you want to see everybody. And sometimes it's tough. And Moops and I were talking about it this past week when we were hanging out with friends. It's good. And I was asking him what he's got going on this week for work. So go, and then Sunday night, that's today, I'm going to be just relaxing at home. Like, I just need a day to myself, just relax, clean the apartment. He was gone for a couple weeks on vacation, so he needed that day to get back, kind of regroup before work starts again. And I think that's important too. And I think for me, especially, like, I'm definitely not a person who prioritizes sleep. I think some people like want to get the 8 hours. They're in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock. They don't care. They'll get it done. They're up at 7. Like, as soon as, that last second before you have to get up, get ready for work, or like get up and go to work. And that's great. I just have never been like that. I've always been a guy who wants to be super really busy and take every second I can. And so for me, I'm getting up. I try to work out before work to get that in. And if I don't do it, I'll do it during my lunch break when I'm working from home. So like that's done out of the way. But then also from like 6:30 to like 11, you don't want to just be sitting at home. Like, you want to do some stuff. And
Yeah.
you're right. There are days where like you have to do shit. You have to study for an exam, like the CPA or the CFA or real estate or something. You have to do that stuff as well, which is very important. But there's also days where you want to play video games, or you want to go just hang out with friends, or you want to go to a happy hour. And it's tough, especially in your 20s. I think you don't really think about it. And Sully and I, who actually was visiting this past week, we made a joke that we were just hanging outside talking, like having drinks. And he's like, isn't it crazy that just a year ago, like, we were in our own house, like hanging out, drinking beers inside, like watching the game, like just like throwing shit on the floor, like living our regular life. And now it's like the complete opposite. And I think the reason for this conversation, which Joey and I talked about, that sparked the idea, was the NCAA 25 game, surprisingly, because I saw a tweet that said, all these 20 to 30-year-olds are getting excited to play this game and not realizing they don't have the same amount of time as they used to when they were younger. And I like took a step back and I was like, fuck, he's kind of right. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on that he's very right about that. Like, I got work and we're going to file for a quarter and I'm going to be busy. And then I have regular life stuff. I have to go to work out or I have to study or I'm going to go to softball. And there's days where you're like losing things here and there and you don't really think about that. And it's tough to find that like happy medium, I think. And I think a lot of people are still trying to find that. I have not found it. And when we have these
Yeah.
conversations, I think Joey and I are the first ones to admit we're not the guy who knows how it all. I think it's just more of a topic to make you guys and ourselves feel like this is a common topic around people our age. And it's not weird to have this feeling.
Yeah, and I think like you could listen to the Kevin Harts or the Mark Wahlbergs of the world. They're like, I am up at 3 a.m. every day. I have a 4 hour workout in before 9 a.m. And that's also not realistic for someone in our case, and in the large majority of people. Like we're 9 to 5ers. We don't have $1 million to really buy back our time like some of these other people. So how do you do that in kind of like the dog days of like normal life? I do not work out before work. Maybe I should, because I feel like that is something that I really want to prioritize and that falls off a lot instead of grocery shopping or cooking or stuff like that. So maybe I do need to get some of my time back in that morning. But what is like one thing that you have, whether it's a list, like I made a to-do list for what I need to clean today, the Sunday after a big holiday weekend. Like I'm not sitting down until that list is done. But what is a system that you have to really like make sure, whether it's a day by day or week by week, that you're getting in all the things that you really want to do to benefit yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, like, especially with like when it comes to like work and like regular life, like I usually have a one note card, like it's like the bigger one, not like the tiny one, but like the bigger one. And on
Hmm.
one side, there's a to do for work. So it's like every day I have a to do list. Like I have this to do for work, I have this to do for work. And there's like certain things where I know like I have to get that done by Wednesday. But then for me on the other side, it's a to do list of stuff outside of work. It's just regular stuff
Okay.
I have to get done. Pay a credit card. Pay the credit card by Tuesday. Send a text and like basic things too. Because I think a big thing about the to list in like life is like it's nice to get the easy ones out of the way. Personally, I think
Oh yeah.
like it's just
Hmm.
nice to feel like okay, you hit that one base hit, like guaranteed hit, versus like okay, like I gotta set up the podcast for the week. I gotta set up some prep time. There's like some more stuff you have to do to that versus just like okay, prep time's ready. But for me, I set up small things too, like send the text to my softball team that we like play, make sure you're in. So like getting that done and then making sure I have time for like myself too. So like I'll work and then let's say I have to edit some stuff for the podcast, I'll do a little bit of that, or I'll have dinner, or I have to study, whatever. But I try not to go to bed without like getting like a little time for myself, whether that's a show, whether that's playing like, going on TikTok for a little something that just like breaks you away, because I think you need that. I
Yeah.
think as a person, like you need that, and like there's tough days where like those days you don't get all that every single day. That's very common, but a to do list that kind of keeps you in check, even though that's kind of more structured. I still believe it lets me like still see the time outside of 5 o'clock, letting me see it that way.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I I definitely am a to-do list guy for work. As far as organizing life, I think I'm bad in the day to day, but I'm good like month to month. Like right over here is a monthly calendar. I got stuff like launch day, the 10th
Yeah,
today for those of you listening to us, but I also have like going to dinner at my cousin's, like concerts are obviously on the calendar, and really making sure that stays up to date. Like I have my same calendar in my phone. So I know what I'm doing like month to month and I can plan around that. But like I said, like I'm not good at working out. There's no way to get around that other than going and working out and
right.
prioritizing it every single day. I took some dumbbells from my parents' house, so I've been trying to do some at home like prison workout stuff. But like overall, like getting in a gym and like really getting a good sweat in is something that I don't think I'm good at prioritizing, because I don't like I can't put gym. I could put gym every single day
Right.
on my monthly calendar, but like I don't. So
Well, and I
I
think I
think
think one
yeah.
thing,
Mhm.
especially you mentioned it like a couple minutes ago, like the Mark Wahlbergs, Kevin Hart's, like those guys, like it's kind of similar to a couple weeks ago. I was like looking at like different workout plans and what like adding workout stuff to do, and I came across Michael B. Jordan's when he was training for Creed, and I see
Oh
this
yeah.
guy's in the gym for like 3 hours, 4 hours a day, and I'm like, how does he have? But then like you take a step back, you're like, okay, this is his job. Like his job is to work out for 4 hours a day before he goes to filming. Like Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg and Kevin Hart, like they're working couple months out of the year, like for movies and stuff, specials. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
Kevin Hart goes on tour, but like Mark Wahlberg, he's got his investments and his businesses now. He's not in as many movies, so it's not like he's crazy busy doing that. So it's a totally different world. And I think the problem with that is like, we'll talk about it again in a future episode, but like the life fun experience also has to do with like the Instagram lifestyle versus like real life, where you think like, oh, we got to
Mhm.
go to these trendy restaurants and do all this and go to that and go to that vacation. When it's like these people like could just like definitely like spent all their money on that trip, like not like that they hadn't gone out for months or they've been saving for months. So like you have
Right.
to like see that like happy medium. And I think there's a lot of people that like don't see that,
It's hard.
myself included.
Like
There's
I
sometimes
see.
where I'm like,
Mhm.
it's tough. And like my girlfriend's not here. It's a long distance girlfriend. So like there's not as many like cool dates, or like you try to like smash everything into like one weekend when you're there. So like those kind of things are tough.
Yeah, I think it's a level of working smarter, not harder. And I just thought of that when you said like the workout thing. Like, we don't have the time to be in the gym for 3 hours a day, but we also aren't trying to put on like 35
Right.
pounds to star in a movie about an athlete.
Right.
So it's about like, I was doing the same thing. I was looking at like mobility programs because like my back, like shoulders, back, hips, like all that stuff. It's stuff like that. It's shopping the deals if you do want to go to a trendy restaurant. Like, grab the Groupon. Like, work smarter,
Yeah.
not harder. Like, we don't all need to be popping bottles at the table. Like, be smart about some stuff. So yeah, like the Instagram lifestyle, it's hard. Like, it's hard to accept that you got friends who are in like a European country like every other weekend. Like, whether it's like this friend or that friend. Like, I'm like, oh no, like I'm not doing anything, but I am. I'm working on the podcast, something I love. I'm stretching at my house and making myself feel better. I am walking to the driving range. So like, it's hard to get off the screen, and like that's kind of been one of our overall messages anyways. Like, the social media era is wild, but finding ways to work smarter, not harder, so you can still have like the most bang for your buck and like the most fun for whatever amount of time you do have available.
Yeah, and like the Groupon thing is such a good line. Like I when I was going to Hawaii, when Meg and I went to Hawaii, we were talking and people were like, oh, where are you staying? How much do you spend? Was it a good deal? Da, da, da. And I was like, oh yeah, good deal. Like flights and hotel, everything in a Costco bundle. And they were like,
Yep.
what? Like you're going to Hawaii off a Costco bundle? And I was like, yeah, it was a good deal. Like round trip tickets, like nice hotel, like and like along with that, like the hotel provided breakfast every day, and not like bagels and like Best Western breakfast where it's like just like a smaller hotel breakfast, like yogurts, pancakes, like eggs. Like there was good breakfasts we got, and like a big thing at those resorts, like the resort fee, like every day, waived the
Yeah.
resort fee, like got all this stuff. So like there were a lot of things that like came in that bundle. You're like, this is like well worth it. Like breakfasts alone are probably 50, $60 like at those restaurants. So like might as well save a little
Mhm.
every day. That's another $300, let's say, every day. So like working smarter, not harder, making sure you enjoy it, but like also like taking the time to like do things you want to do. It's okay to like, I feel like myself, I've learned over the last year living at home, working, being busy, studying, doing my thing. Like for me specifically, I don't need to go out every night, obviously, but be like, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, not going to waste my time doing something I don't want to do. Like not hanging out
Mhm.
with people I don't want to hang out with, not going somewhere. Like it's like I've started to feel less bad about being like, I think I'm just going to stay in tonight. Like there's like days where you're like, man, I wish I did something, or man, I should have gone, or like, man, I should have gone on that trip. Maybe the trip, you're like, oh man, I really wish I did that. But like
Yeah.
so far, there haven't been many days where I'm like, oh man, I wish I went out that night, or I wish I did that. Like there's days where like sometimes it's okay to take it for yourself.
I think I've been putting the pedal down pretty hard since I moved. Like, it's been an exciting thing. I'm right down the street from Wrigley. Like, I went to two Cubs games last
Right.
week. Have went out Tuesday through Sunday this week. Holiday week, so it's a little different. But at home, I'd be like, no, like I don't need to go like get an Uber and go to a bar and spend the money. Like, so we've talked about like balancing spending some extra money and having some experience
Right.
versus like saving up and like doing that. So I think I'm getting to the point now where like I'm settled into the apartment, like holiday week is over, like no holidays looking up for a period of time. I might start doing that a little more. It's been kind of hard with everyone like crashing in my
Right.
apartment, like everyone's always here, so it's like I get in the social thing and I've never been like, "Oh, I regret going out that night." But for the body, for the wallet, for the rest of the week, the rest of the weekend's productivity, I might I might need to like stay in every once in a while. I do really value my alone time. Like I came back yesterday and I was like literally like I was like, "What's up, Kyle?" Like I'm going in my room, like I'm cleaning, I'm unpacking, like I'm starting laundry. Like I'll be stressed out until like my room is back into like a state that I accept. So prioritizing like that alone time, keeping things clean. Like the holiday week was great. The apartment's a little
Yeah.
messy. Nothing bad happened, which is good. So that's been a good balance. But I think overall, like I need to start prioritizing my well being and health versus like another night in Wrigley sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, it's tough too because like the Cubs and like the environment around there is just great. It's great. And there's Wrigleyville and there's the bars and like everybody wants to go out, but like, yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying. Like finding that time to like maybe like do something else, step away and like it's expensive also, like not an
Yeah.
idiot. Like it's expensive to like go to a game, grab a couple drinks, go to the bars after. It's not a cheap experience that day. But like I agree, like finding the right ways to like handle things and like different hobbies. Like I think life management, like I think at the end of the day, it just boils down to what you care about the most. If you care about going out and
Yeah.
seeing things, doing it, go do it. And there's like some new things I did. Like I love going to the movies with some of my friends. So like I got the AMC pass, which I highly recommend. I've mentioned it before on this podcast, but $25 a month, you get 3 movies a week. So if you're interested and you like movies, you get 12 movies a month. I mean, I've never once maxed it out. I think the most I got in a month was like
Yeah.
5, and that was a lot. But $25 a month, 12 movies, incredible deal. But like that's something I like to do. So like Dean and I or some other friends and I will go to the movies and it's like that's what we like to do. We just like to go, chill, watch a movie, hang out. Wednesday nights are softball nights. Those are fun. I always have fun doing that. And the weekends, we go out sometimes, we stay in sometimes. It's just finding that happy medium and like doing what you care about, finding what you love, caring about it. We found this podcast. We're putting our blood, sweat, and tears into it and doing everything we can to grow it. That's a hobby we like to do. And finding hobbies and things you actually care about that you care about, not everybody, but just you, is my best advice of like life management and doing the right thing there.
So easier said than done though, right? Like
Absolutely.
this is something that I really like struggle to do. Like if I'm like I don't want to go out, like I'm not doing it. I'm not going out, whether that's at home, whether it's here, and people are like, "Come on, like quit being soft, like let's go out." Like then there's the other crowd. It's like you're only young once, like go do it all. So I really do struggle with like, oh, like I'm letting my friends down, I'm letting my family down. Like I'm not home enough, I'm not here
Right.
enough. Like I sometimes I feel like I can't win, and the people around you are like kind of calling you out for it. So how do you manage that when you do want to prioritize yourself and prioritize a night in, but you feel like you're letting others down?
I think it's just like I don't know. I think it's like the honesty time of like, or like when figuring out when to do it. Like, if you just went on a 2 week vacation to Italy and your parents like, are you going to come home for dinner when we land? And you're like, no, I think I'm going to go back to the apartment. Like, pretty reasonable, I think.
Yeah.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, we just were together every second of the day for the last 2 weeks. But, it's been
Mhm.
a couple weeks since senior family. Like, maybe go then. But, like, yeah, I get it. Like, but, like, there also comes a point in time where, like, kind of like you said your friends visit you, like your friends visit you, probably like none of them probably pay rent at home, so they have a little extra money to
Right.
spend. So like find that happy medium, or like pre-gaming a little harder or something. But like I think you can still find the best of both worlds. It's just like I do understand the pressure of like that you're not coming out, come on, come out, or like why aren't you coming home this weekend, stuff like that. That pressure does
Mhm.
build, but like no one is perfect at finding that happy medium, I think. I think every person would say
Yeah.
like I'd rather wish there were probably times where I wish I went home a little more, probably wish times where I hung out with my friends more. And it's just like that's just a normal problem I think everyday people have.
Yeah, it stings because like sometimes I have a good thought about it where I'm just like I'm gonna do what I want to do and like sorry like the answer the sad answer is the honesty answer. Like sometimes it's like no I'm not coming home or
Yeah,
no I'm not going out
right.
and that just has to be okay. But yeah, I feel like especially in the last couple months where I was on vacation, I'm trying to go out in Chicago. I'm trying to go to like restaurants and stuff. Sometimes I do feel like I'm strung out a little thin and it's kind of been building for me. But yeah, I just kind of gotta, like I said, like I've been trying to go to the driving range and to the gym for like a month, and I haven't.
Gotta go.
So that's something I want to do. I just got
I
to
think
do
you
it.
gotta do it this week. Driving range this week. You gotta commit to it this week.
I think I'm doing it today.
Oh,
I'm really hoping I do it
there
today.
you go. I think yeah, get it done today. Let the
It's on recording now. I'll post on the story if I go
yeah.
today, because now it's on recording and I got to hold myself
There we
to it.
go. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, like holding yourself accountable. Like some days I feel like when I have like shit to do outside of work, like not hanging out, but there's like, normal everyday tasks like I have to get done, or like for example, like The Bear, like the show The Bear. If
Mhm.
anybody watches that one, it's a pretty good one. It's one of my favorite shows. It's coming out, and the 10 episodes dropped like a week or two ago, and I like watched the first eight like throughout the first couple of days, and then just hadn't have time. I just haven't had time to watch the last two. And Sully was here, and Meg was still here, so like, I just didn't ever watch them. But like this week, like that's gonna be one of my like first things, like catch up on The Boys, catch up The Bear, like House of Dragon, like catch up on all of that. So like I can like, because like those are such great shows. So like doing small things like
Yeah.
that also help big time, I think.
Yeah, that's big. I've been getting back into TV. Maddie and I started The Wire.
Oh, okay.
That's been a good escape too. Instead of like scrolling on Instagram for another 2 hours, like committing to actually like a
Yeah, yeah.
decent show. Like before bed, I put on dumb sitcoms that I can like fall asleep
Right.
to, but like committing to a show that like makes a point, like mean a good
Well, you gotta
show.
like pay
Like that's a
attention. You
good
gotta
way to
pay
like,
attention though.
yeah,
Yeah, Meg and I did.
yeah.
We started Dexter, so we're a couple episodes into that, and then she said she started a little bit, and so we started from the season one. We started Love Is Blind, which
Mm.
I've never seen those shows. I'm not a big like. Is that reality TV? Would that be like reality TV
I'd say
or like
yeah. I'd
dating
say yeah.
dating TV? Uh, so I'm a couple episodes in. I watched an episode recently, and I just think those shows are so fascinating. Like it's like talk about like life and like talk about doing something like sacrifice other time, like going on these shows, like finding your husband, not even knowing what they look like, or husband or wife. But like just some of it's so cringe. But it's kind of like a car accident. Like
Oh
it's so
yeah.
bad, but like can't look away. Can't look away.
Yeah, I've never. Maddie likes them. I've been pretty adamant about
This
not
is like
getting
the
into
first one
them.
I've
They
ever
are a car
watched. Like I don't
accident.
watch Bachelor, I don't watch those shows, but like this is like the first one I'm like some of this is rough, but some of it I'm like, oh, I can't look away. It's so bad. Like
Did you ever see Dance
oh,
Moms? Not that it like.
I've watched Dance
My
Moms, yeah.
sister still watches Dance Moms
Still?
reruns, and my dad and I still,
Oh.
like, if she's like home, she has nothing to do, like over like a couple weeks in the summer, or like stuff, like not like religiously watching them, but like she'll binge some episodes when she has nothing going
Right.
on. And my dad and I were like, "This is the worst thing ever," and then we sit there for an hour
Yeah,
and watch
right.
them and complain.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
no, those shows are good, but I agree. The shows at the end of the night, like not like relax on those scrolling for a couple hours, like actually let the brain get a little more activity before bed. Like
yeah,
definitely would agree on that for sure. But I think yeah, like looking at it overall, like do what you think is best for you. Find the ways that make you happy, even if they don't make others happy, and like find a hobby. Like find a hobby outside. Like
yeah,
it can be this, it can be painting, it can be cooking, it can be going on walks every day, it can be going on hikes. Like I honestly think it just like boosts your mental. And like
it has
we
to.
did 70, I did 75 hard, and then we jumped in the wrong side, and like I feel like it just like helped my brain like relax. And like every day at work there's could be a day where like it's a shitty day at work. Those days happen, or you're studying and you don't
Mhm.
want to study anymore, and that fucking blows. But finding those outlets are just so beneficial, I believe, and like help you so much more when you need them.
Work will always be there. If you don't prioritize the things you actually want to do in your life, you're not going to have anything to show for it.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah.
Before we go on to our outside the line coverage, we're going to quickly kick it to our ad read and our clutch moment of the week. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan, he'll help you out. Joey, who's your clutch moment of the week?
Clutch moment of the week, a sad day in the wrestling community. My GOAT, John Cena, announced his retirement. John Cena is the all time Make a Wish leader, as well as having one of the best one liners in WWE, WWF wrestling history of all time. John Cena broke the news when we compromised to a permanent end Osama bin Laden. A little backstory there that I learned from my friend Jack. They weren't allowed to say killed on for like WWE. I don't know if it was TV or like the league at the time. So John Cena, they landed on, they compromised to a permanent end, which I think was electric. But John Cena's retiring. I remember playing the 2007 WWE game on my Wii. That was an electric game, more real than the real product, but a great game, a great actor. I think probably the best actor in my opinion, as far as like wrestlers turned actors. But he's
Interesting.
retiring.
And, I
Hmm.
actually saw that debate on Twitter last week. It was like him,
Yep.
Dwayne The Rock, and Dave Bautista. You think it's John Cena, best of the three?
I
You
think
must have really
John
liked Ricky
Cena,
Stenicki. You must have really liked that movie.
it was electric. But Batista shows a vulnerability to him that the other two don't. Dwayne Johnson, I think I go back and forth on The Rock a lot. At the moment, I'm anti The Rock. I
Okay.
don't think I read some bad stories about him. I don't know if they're true at all, but um, John Cena, he's funny. He just does it right. I've never heard a bad word said about him. I think he was homeless for a period of time
Oh
and would
wow.
eat like entire deep dish pizzas because it would be free if you like finished the whole thing, and he would just be like housing pizza because he was homeless. And eventually the owner was like, dude, like I'll just give you a slice if you want. You don't have to eat the whole thing every time. So there's just some great stories about John Cena. So maybe he's not the best actor as far as like his acting chops, but my personal
I
favorite.
will say that he of the shows I mentioned earlier. I won't say which one, but there is a cameo in one of those shows. A John Cena cameo in one of those shows so far.
Yes.
So if
Hmm.
anybody watches those shows, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or if you haven't and want to see John Cena, how'd it go? But for me, my clutch moment, it's two people. I had two. I only because the sites I was looking, one had one person and another had another of who it is. But it's gonna go out
Hmm.
to Terrell Harris and Henry Thomas. And I know what most of you probably are thinking. Who are these random people Michael just listed off? But these two people are listed as the agent for Tobias Harris. And I
Oh,
believe that these two men are very clutch. Tobias Harris recently, this past week, had left Philly. I know a lot of fans, our friends, were very excited about that. Signed a
oh yeah.
2-year, $52 million deal with the Pistons for the next 2 seasons, surpassing $300+ million in an NBA career. Tobias Harris.
Hmm.
Tobias Harris,
Hmm.
$300 million. So Terrell Harris, who I think might be his dad. I looked up on Unique Sports Management, the website, and Henry Thomas, who's
Okay.
listed on Spot Track, the contract website. They're clutch. They are the definition of being clutch moment.
I was reading about Tobias as well. I believe he is just about 300 million. Clay Thompson career earnings is about 316
Yes.
million. I think the Warriors, they've taken like some pay cuts to keep that core together, which is now gone, but story for another day. Um, Clay Thompson, four-time champion, however many All-Stars, first team NBAs, whatever, a lot of accolades in Clay Thompson's 316 million. Tobias Harris has never made an All-Star game.
301
And
million, most ever without making an all-star game.
that is, I had no idea what you were going to say before you said those two names. I had no idea who those were, but they may be the two clutchest men in the history of sports
I
management.
think they. I mean, I know everyone wants to say like Shohei's agent and he has the breakdown, whatever. Like, if you want to give it to him, but I think that's $301 million. You're one of the most highest paid players ever. Because, like, if you really think about
Hmm.
it, like Magic and Michael, those guys didn't make that much, like playing in the time, like
Right.
with everything. So, like, you're one of the most paid players overall in NBA history, and you've never made an All Star game. Shout out to Terrell and shout out to Henry. Those
Yeah.
guys like are so
That's
clutch. Like, I've been thinking about this one for a week. Like, oh, should I do like a clutch one about my vacation or like last couple weeks off, or should I do one of sports? And yeah, those two guys can't get much more clutch than that. Fucking unreal.
big time.
300 million.
Yeah.
So shout out to Terrell and Henry. And now we're gonna kick it over to our outside the line segment with our usual tone deaf and wrong side, right side.
Wrapping it up with outside the line, getting back to our bread and butter, tone deaf person of the week, and boy, are there a few. Starting out down the street from me, the Cubs and Colton Brewer specifically. Colton Brewer, reliever for the Cubs. If you told me this guy's name a couple days ago, I would not know who he was. Hasn't really done anything this year that I am aware of. But made headlines this week because in a rough start against the Angels on Friday, I believe, um, he had a rough inning. He was only in there for one inning after Kyle Hendricks was getting shelled. He got pulled, was frustrated. He got pulled, punched the wall, and broke his hand. Non-pitching hand, but I just can never get behind players or anyone like that has that lack of poise. Like, you are a professional athlete. Your body is a temple. Please take care of it. Like, he's on the 60-a-day IL now. Someone else got brought up from the minors. Send Colton Brewer to the fucking sun for all I care. It's like, what are you doing? Like, get mad, like throw something, I guess. Like, I can never get that. It's another reason the Cubs are always wrong side and have been awful since I moved into Wrigleyville, and it never fucking
Well,
ends.
and the Wrigley faithful have had their fair share of hotheads, especially in that building. I mean, I
For
can
sure.
visualize, probably and count on both my hands, maybe more than that. Carlos Zambrano would take the bat and
Uh-huh.
smash the water cooler. Nobody's getting hurt. Nobody's getting hurt. He got the
Mm-mm.
bat. Lou Pinella would get in people's faces when he was the manager. You had people get upset. That's one thing. Upset, throwing the water cooler. Then you have, I know there's been a time, I think it was, uh, I want to say it's Jared Kelnick broke his foot recently from kicking a water cooler, or somebody kicked a water cooler
Oh,
at him. So like stupid shit like that, where like I remember when I was in high school, there was a kid who I played with in the summer when we did like summer ball against other high schools, and he had like a bad inning. A summer ball bad inning is like, it happens. Like, you're working on certain pitches. Like,
yeah.
there were times where like when we would play certain games, you're only allowed to throw fastballs. Like, your arms just, because we weren't in like full season shape yet, where like your arms could throw everything. So you're just throwing fastballs. And he had like a bad
Right.
inning, just like guy came, and he came in and like punched the bench, and it was like a concrete bench. We were like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "Oh, I think my hand's broken." Punches with his left hand, starts, and like we're like, "What the hell is happening?" So there's players like that that are fucking psychotic. They are.
I don't get it. Like, I freak the hell out about Ohio State football and like everything else. Like, I'm screaming at the TV, and that's one thing. As a fan, you're supposed to be invested and emotional about the game. Like, that's what you're there to cheer and
Right.
cry and boo and like become emotional. Obviously, there's a line that maybe I have crossed at times that you probably shouldn't. But when you're a
Dare
player
I
and can
say I've
directly
crossed it? Dare I say?
dare I say I've crossed it? I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. But as a player who is directly able to affect the outcome of a game, you think you should keep your head screwed on a little tighter. So like, you shouldn't be a big leaguer if like that's how you're reacting as a reliever to like a
Absolutely.
bad inning. Like,
And especially the
it
Angels. It's not the
makes
World
no
Series.
sense.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Need a win today.
Yeah,
Need a win
that's
today.
that. That's a good tone deaf. My tone deaf, also in the sports world. I know we have also a combined one that we're gonna debate on a little, but my tone deaf
Hmm.
is, yes, I did know that the Lakers drafted Bronny last week. I was aware of that. Did
Hmm.
I need 5 or 6 different ESPN push notifications about first basket on the court? I mean, I don't know if anybody saw a stat line. It was fine. Summer League, 21 minutes, 4 points. He did nothing crazy. 4 points, couple assists, couple steals. I think I got a push notification for both baskets and the
For sure.
steal. I'm pretty sure I got all of those.
Yeah.
And like along with like
Uh-huh.
he's now on the court, and like Bronny debut, an extra one at night. Someone tweeted, I saw, I was like, ESPN, I know what you might be thinking, but no, I don't need a push notification every 5 minutes. That was a lot. That was a lot of push notifications for the summer league, and I turned it on for like 5-10 minutes because there's no sports on. I really wanted to see Dalton play. Saw him play a couple minutes. He
Hmm.
did okay, but it was a little bit. The summer league is like also a rough watch. Like, outside of the one
Yeah.
summer when the Lakers had like Lonzo and Kuzma, and that was like the best summer league team ever for them. It was a little bit of a rough watch, but yeah, that was insanity. I mean, they're gonna media. I don't even know the word, like over media publicize. Like man, my words are gonna, like, I don't know. They're gonna like over publicize this kid. Like, he's gonna be in the G League, and I think every highlight's gonna be online. Like,
It was it was ridiculous. There was another push notification that someone sent from FanDuel where they have like Bronny to
yes,
record a
the
triple
whole
double,
season.
Bronny to record a yeah, the whole season. Like, I get like it's LeBron's kid. Historically, a lot of people's kids don't really pan out in the pros.
Right.
So like from his standpoint alone, like putting all this like media attention and pressure on it as a second round pick, no less, is absolutely crazy. And even more than the push notifications was like, yeah, and I have ESPN, Bleacher Report, CBS,
Right,
so I get like
right.
6 of them for everything that happens. And you go like Bronny had an insane summer league debut at like ESPN's Instagram. It's 3 slides. It's a title slide, it's 1 basket, it's 2
That's
baskets,
it.
it's over. It's not like he like loaded it up. It's like it's like a plot. It almost like seems like it would be like out of the boys with like how ridiculous it is. Like all this hyped for like literally like 2 things. Like it was
It
scary. It was
was
a bad start
Yeah,
for
bad
ESPN.
start for ESPN. And like, I know Bronny's going to be very controversial the rest of his career, or at least maybe this year or next year. Everyone's mad about the
Uh-huh.
guaranteed money and all that stuff. But like, I will say, in Bronny's defense, he was he was a very good high school player, and maybe we don't know how this season ends with the cardiac arrest. We don't, but
Right.
I will say that the crazy, like, how could they pay him this much money and this and that? There were like 3 or 4 other second rounders that got this much money. So like,
Yeah.
no, and everyone's nepo this, nepo that. There's nepo and everything. Let's not lie. Like Genie Bus, nepo. Most owners, nepo.
Hmm.
Like coaches, nepo. We were making fun in the Brad Seymour interview with Billy Donovan Jr.
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
it happens everywhere. So let's just back off on that, I think, as well. Let Bronny play. Let him play. I was making fun watching the game. I was like, they're not passing to Bronny. They're not being very nice. So
Yeah.
that was, yes, but 100% ESPN push notification tone deaf. We're not even in the summer league yet. It was the California Classic where there's like 4 teams. It's going to be a
Oh
long
man.
summer of highlights, I think, from ESPN. But our
Yeah.
mutual tone deaf debate to wrap up tone deaf, the White Party. If anybody's not familiar with the
The
White
white
Party,
party.
Michael Rubin hosted. Everybody gets a special invitation. All the A-list celebs are there. Burrow, the Kardashians. You have C.J. Stroud, Micah Parsons. You have other celebrities in media. You have Jake Paul, Logan Paul, those kind of talent. Everybody's there. Also, formerly hosted by Diddy in the past, and no Diddy though, no Diddy now. Uh, but what are your thoughts on the White Party? You think it's a little much? Think it's fake? I see, because I think Michael Rubin's great, but I think a lot of people hate on him and think he's like a fake, like guy's a loser, wants to hang out with all the cool kids, just invites them to his house kind of thing.
Well, that could be true, but they all still show up.
Right,
It's not like what the USA Olympic basketball team had turned into the last couple of years, where it's like the third round picks for everyone. Like all the A-listers like decline it,
right,
and like
right. Okay,
it's not as stacked of a team. All the A-listers are there.
yeah,
Lil Wayne is there. Like Joe Burrow is there. Um, it's a cool party. I would like to go to the
I
party.
would
I
be
actually
invited.
think
I
I
would
would be a
like to be
blast.
invited.
I think I'd be a blast in any one of those circles. I also don't think I would be the least cool person there. Do you want to know why?
Yes,
Somehow, some way, Grant Williams keeps getting an invite to this party. I don't know if he's maybe big in Europe or like the fashion scene that I may not know about. Maybe yeah, maybe he's big over there. But I think like I have as much ever as a right to be there as Grant Williams
I
does.
agree, a
So
100%.
it's there's I don't know why they pick it. I think it's a really cool thing that they do. They showed the videos of like the musicians performing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get the cool pictures of like great groups that like you never would have expected to see together. I'm not anti white party. The Diddy layer is something interesting as
Mm.
well. Like when you get that many big time celebrities in one spot, like what are they really doing over there? You should watch the latest episode of The Boys. There's a funny thing there.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I like the white party. I think
I'm
it would
pro
be
white party.
cool. Though
I mean, I want the
okay.
invite. I want the invite. There's some sick people there. I don't care. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, it ranges from like Livy Dunn and like Alex Earl, who are like TikTokers and like
Mhm.
athletes in like college. Like, Livy's a good athlete, but like, she's not like the top tier of athlete. To like Tom Brady and Derek Jeter and Michael Strahan and,
I think Robert Kraft was
Robert
there.
Kraft is there, yeah, and
Mhm.
Prez got disinvited a couple years ago, so he doesn't get invited anymore. Portnoy, so he doesn't go to these, which is like
Why?
shocking because like he would fit in well. I think he said like he wasn't gonna go
100%.
once, or he asked to like bring someone once and like got declined, so he just never went.
Oh,
But
yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm pro white party, but I think a lot of people are anti white party, and anti-fun parties like that. So, but I'm pro. I'm pro.
Is the concept of the party overall definitely pro, definitely a W. Is the like all white attire a little cultish,
I don't think so.
a little
No,
weird?
no. It's just a
Okay.
theme.
I don't
It's
know.
just a
I
theme.
don't
July
know.
4th
It's a
theme.
theme,
July 4th theme.
but it's not July 4th theme. It's all perfectly white and scary and everyone
But it's
is
on July 4th. It's on July 4th.
then do red, white, and blue, god damn it. It's America.
But white's cleaner. Everybody's matching.
I guess. I don't know. That's the only part where I'm just like, oh, they're trying too hard. But there's some sick fits.
Crazy
But
fits.
I think it's a good
I'm
party.
pro white
I
party.
wa- that's our new goal. It's like, where do you want to be in 5 years?
The white party.
The Michael Rubin
Yeah.
white
I
party.
didn't see they should have invited Sketch. Didn't see him there.
That would have went hard.
But he,
That would
didn't
have
see
went
him.
hard.
Didn't see him. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to tune in next year. Stay tuned. Maybe 2025. Our projection, our current outlook, 2026. I think for wrong side to get to the white party gives us a couple more years.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can get there.
Yeah, that's a good goal.
But wrapping up after Tone Deaf, right side, wrong side. Wrap it up for the rest of the week, and then looking at the head of the future.
Yeah. Right side, as we've mentioned it's 4th of July week wrapping up now. 4th of July, I think, is my favorite holiday of the year.
Okay.
You get the weather. As someone who experiences all four seasons, like Christmas is great, but then it's like sometimes you're snowed in on Christmas. Sometimes there's no snow on Christmas. There's all like love the family and everything. But 4th of July is America and fireworks and burgers and pools and like everything I really truly love about the world. This year for the 4th of July, I was back out in the suburbs at my friend's house. His family was gone, so we got to run the whole house. They got a trampoline, a pool, like 2 backyard patios, like basically the perfect house to throw 4th of July at. So I jumped on a trampoline for the first time in probably 8 to 10 years. I was bouncing on it. I was doing tricks on it for real. Got a good sweat going before jumping in the pool. Played in the pool for like 12 hours, drank for like 12 hours.
Did you make a sandwich with some chips in there? It seems like you need
Yup.
one of those on days like that.
Yes, exactly. Definitely did that. A great Midwestern 4th of July. And dare I say, I'm already getting excited about having my own house in the burbs. Like we were lucked out that like I love like most of my friends' parents, like his parents were gone that weekend. So like it was really like just our friends like having a house, which is rare. I'm getting excited about a backyard and a pool and a dog and maybe throwing some of those parties instead of running out to these greasy bars every weekend.
Okay.
So I am already an old man. I wear that badge proudly. Everyone says I'm the dad and I act like a grumpy old man a lot, which is okay. But I'm already getting excited about settling down in the burbs. That's my
how is the performance on the trampoline?
So it was okay. It was okay. So my friend had a trampoline like when we were younger, and we would like play like tackle football on it, like do whatever. You're a kid, like your bones are made of rubber,
Right,
like you can do
right.
whatever you want. As I just said, I am now an old man
Don't
with a lot
touch
of
me.
problems. Don't touch me. I was the only one on the trampoline at one point, and I was like, I could get seriously injured at any moment here. So I kept it real tame. It was an okay performance, but I didn't try and do too much. I let the game come to me. I was not doing flips, but it was good. It was like, wow, like it felt nice.
Was it like the I think you should leave sketch where they're like, you're only here for the zip line? Were you only there for the trampoline?
For the first couple hours, yeah, and then I was really locked in on the pool, and so yeah, it was a great 4th of July. It was exactly what a Midwestern 4th of July should be, minus a lake. Usually we are closer to a
Love
lake,
that.
but it was awesome.
Love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, my right side was just a nice week off. Being off, obviously shut down for the firm. It was nice all
Yeah.
week. Didn't have to work for PwC, and definitely rare sighting for me. But got to spend a little money at the mall. Went to the mall. It was an
Oh,
accidental spend because I was not going in there to spend anything because I hate spending money on new clothes and I'll dress like a 10-year-old. I don't
mhm.
really care. But Meg had to return something at Abercrombie and 50% off clearance, like the whole store. Got some nice stuff. Got a shirt dedicating to the Memorial, the golf tournament in
Nice.
Columbus. I had another cool
Mhm.
graphic tee I got. Nice linen beach shirt I got as well. And got an Olympic LA shirt, LA 1984 Olympics vintage shirt. So spent some money
Let's
there
go.
and then got to rock it on the 4th. Went to the beach on the 4th. Great ass time. Fun time at the beach. Drank. Got super dark. got super tan, and really, it was a good Fourth. It was pretty. I usually don't. I love the Fourth of July, but sometimes just like plans get messy and like everyone wants to go to the bar or like do.
Yeah.
So it's just like up and down. But we went to like my grandma's house, posted up there, drank and tanned, and then went to the beach, went to the bars. Pretty overall good day.
Great to
But
hear. And as we were talking about in our life segment, like it is nice to like take care of yourself
yeah,
every once in a
it was
while.
good.
Like buy the new shirt, 50% clearance all
Oh
day,
yeah, it was like 50% plus already on clearance. So like I had one shirt, it was
all day.
$40. I got it for 10.
Let's
So
go.
win. But yeah, Fourth of July was great, except for my wrong side of the week, which was the traffic leaving the beach.
Mm,
Pretty
traffic is always
pretty
wrong side.
miserable. And like,
Yes.
yes, you're like, oh, California traffic, you're used to it, you get it. No, it wasn't like that. It said, so from my grandma's house that we were at to my house on a regular day, it probably takes 30 minutes to get there. 30 minutes back. It took us 2 hours to get home on the 4th of July. And I get it. It's 4th of July, traffic, totally normal.
Uh-huh.
The beach is busy. It took us an hour 40 to get from Balboa Peninsula to the freeway and 20 minutes to get from the freeway home. The traffic
Oh man.
was horrible. People are cutting in from the side streets. I was legit in park. People are like sitting in the street, drinking, like hanging out, waiting for cars to move. And it shows there's a crash. So we're like, oh, bummer. So we're waiting for the
Yeah, it
crash,
happens.
whatever. My buddy gets out of the car. He's like, man, this must be an awful crash. I'm going to go walk and see it. No
Mm-hmm.
crash. Crash didn't exist. Apple Maps lying to us. So we sat in traffic for an hour 40 before we got on the freeway, drove home. Miserable. Miserable
That's
4th of July,
crazy.
4th of July traffic. Sober. And I thought it was maybe like a DUI checkpoint or a regular crash.
Yeah.
Nothing.
A
A
reason.
reason. Nothing. Man-made traffic. Pathetic. Miserable.
I don't get
2 hour
it.
drive home.
I
Dead
actually
sober.
don't get traffic.
I was like pretty sober when I left. And I was like dead
Mhm.
sober, tired when I got home at midnight. I was like, fuck that.
The hangover kind of set in by then. You're like,
Yes.
oh, the
The
headache's there.
headaches
You're
was
like,
like,
all I want to do is drink water and lay
yes,
down. The night's
it's
over.
over.
The night's
It's
chalked.
over. Exactly. Very
That's
accurate.
the
But
worst.
that's my wrong side. How about you?
Yeah. Mine goes out to this is a new thing I'm a fan of. There's been a lot of soccer on over the last couple of
Yep.
weeks, the Copa America, and I don't
The Euro.
what
The Euro.
Euro
Yep.
Cup. Yeah. US had high expectations in the Copa America. My right side, first of all, was the broadcast. I've never seen a broadcast like rip on a team and be so like brutally honest about
Yeah.
a team as they were about the US men's team. Maddie played soccer all throughout high school, so she's a big fan. A lot of my other friends have been becoming fans of it, and we have some of my friends are like big soccer fans. But
Highball.
I tuned in tie ball, insane tie ball. But the men's national team game against Uruguay, it was just uninspired. Like I never thought they were going to win. I don't know ball. I don't know foot.
Right.
I'll be the first to admit it. But I was like, nobody here wants to win. Pulisic like looked okay, but the ref show was absolutely
Refs were
atrocious.
awful that game.
And
Yes.
and I learned about our coach, Greg Berhalter. They had called this team the Golden Generation. It was the first time a lot of the US men's national team's players were actually playing in competitive leagues over in Europe. So we're like, oh, we're going to be good. The broadcast called the group stage for the US a formality. They were making it out of the group stage. Like they were competing for it all. They didn't make it out of it. At one point, it was either like the US needed to win or they needed, I think it was Panama on like a different game in the group. They needed a goal over there. And the coach is on the sideline like, the other team scored. Like, we're getting bailed out. Like, way to go, guys. I think no less than 5 minutes later, the men's national team then gave up a goal and like gave the spot back up, ended up losing, like didn't make it out of the group stage. So one more thing about the coach before I really like tie it all together. A couple of years ago, I learned this after that. They had fired Greg Berhalter.
He's back.
And did a huge they did a huge like worldwide search. They were bringing in experts to make like the beautiful hire, and they brought him back. They had fired him. They're like, we're moving on. We're finding somebody else. We're going to pour a ton of resources into making a good decision for this next coach. And they brought him back. I don't know. Based on what the broadcast was saying, they did not accomplish much under Greg Berhalter. You got to blame the players too a little bit, but to go through all that just to bring the coach back, to watch him get excited about another team scoring and then his team giving away the opportunity to move on in the tournament just shows like, call it tone deaf, like no game awareness. Like it was brutal to watch. And one of my friends, he put it really nicely, like the the men's national team has a level, like an infuriating level to watch that is so familiar as a Chicago sports fan. I might be all the way in on this men's national team. So I thought that was hilarious. And it was cool to like get excited about your country and soccer, which I don't usually watch that much. But wrong side, we suck. We suck at everything, always on the wrong side. And that coach has got to get fired into the
Well, I
sun as well.
saw the stat that the last 19 hosts have made the next round, the round of 16. This is the first year the
Oh,
host has never made it in the U.S.
that's
Because it's like
ridiculous.
it's Copa, so it's like the Americas, and there's like
Hmm.
some games in America, some game in Canada, like they're all over. But we've
Yeah.
hosted games, and the last 19 times we've hosted, we've won, we've moved on. The first time we have not, and yeah, Berhalter, they said they're going to announce his decision. Everybody wants Klopp to be the next head coach. I think that's not going to be
Hmm.
possible. But I do agree on the Team USA. I think they should be better, but I do agree on the vibes of rooting. I think it's very different because like here in America, everyone likes like different football teams. There's not like one unified team, and like the
Yeah.
USA team for football is or for soccer is very bad. Like it's not good. Like they make around the 16 once or twice. Like, but like the games are so fun when everybody roots together. And like I was telling
Yeah.
Mooks and Sully that like it's one thing to like be in Columbus rooting for Ohio State because like oh everybody's rooting for Ohio State. That's different versus like oh we're all rooting for USA no matter what. Like every city, and I think that's cool. I think Europe does have that down for soccer though. That is my one. I wish we had that here for other sports.
Yeah, I agree. And it's only fitting that as we're realizing this, like, we realize that we're also awful and we're still wrong
Yeah,
sides. We're right where we've been the entire
exactly.
time anyway.
Always
So
wrong side,
yeah,
been wrong side, and we'll see. We'll see what they turn up at the World Cup in a few years. We'll see who is leading the helm of the men's national team. But
hopefully not that guy.
hopefully not Greg. But wrapping up, super excited to be back. New episodes coming every week still. The website is up and running. Go check that out. Read some of our blogs. Check us out. Let us know if you want to hear about anything. We still have the forum going. The Dynasty is about to be started up. If you want to grab one of the last spots, we got 13 spots. We're going to try to go for 20. That's going to be exciting. TikTok is up. Instagram is updated. Twitter's updated. Go check out everything. We're so happy to be back. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. And we'll see you guys next week.
Stay blessed.